Last year, I predicted the value of my portfolio, and the result will shock you. Back on October 1st, 2024, I made a bold prediction. I believed my portfolio then, valued at £6,284.55, would grow to £9,476.68 over 1 year. Fast forward to today, and something surprising has happened. Did it hit that mark? Did I miss it? Well, you'll find out soon. I'll give you a hint. Next year, I'll be targeting over £15,000. Last year in October, when my portfolio sat a little under £6,300, I laid out a forecast. With steady growth and contributions, I expected it to reach at £9,476.68 by the same date in 2025. That implied a certain rate of return alongside my consistent deposits. So, how was I going to give myself the best odds of doing this? Well, I selected Vanguard's VUAG S&P 500 ETF, as it auto reinvests the dividends and is a low cost at 0.07% fees, alongside the broad exposure it gives you into the large US caps. To reach my projection, I assumed an average return in line with long-term S&P 500 expectations, and again, with my regular deposits. And what a year it's been. I'll walk you through some of the major events in the market, the ups, the downs, and the surprises that shaped what happened. The first thing that comes to mind was the late rally in 2024, just after I'd started this. The S&P 500 delivered a strong year in 2024 in total, with a total return around 25%, and Q4 being 10.5% alone. And because the VUAG accumulates the dividends, it gave it an even bigger boost. Then, in January and February, we had the biggest crash I've ever had to go through as an investor. In early 2025, inflation fears and rising yields caused volatility. Markets hesitated as investors speculated whether rates would be cut or held, causing masses of sell-offs and concern in the market. We can't forget as well the tech leadership and the AI buzz, with major tech names like Nvidia, Microsoft and Apple that continue to lead gains, riding AI and cloud momentum, which spearheaded the market's performance. And we can't forget as well, in June, we had a mid-year dip. A sell-off hit broadly due to concerns over the economic slowdown, weaker than expected corporate earnings, or geopolitical noise. This was a test of conviction, but then more recently, we had the recovery and the breakout in the late summer. Markets regained confidence with strong Q2 and Q3 earnings, combined with investor appetite for growth, drove the index to new highs. Throughout, my portfolio in VUAG mirrored much of that volatility. Ups when the market was surged, downs when it wobbled. The broader S&P 500's long-term average return is cited to be around 10.26% annually from historical data, so I was betting somewhere in that ballpark, plus extra from deposits. Okay, here's the moment you've all been waiting for. My prediction, just to remind you, was £9,476.68 by October the 1st, 2025. But today, my portfolio sits at £10,190.95. Yes, I surpassed my estimate. That is £714.27 more than my forecast, roughly an extra 7.5% above what I thought would be possible. So what caused me to overshoot my estimate? Simply, it's just two things. In the most recent months, I actually increased my contributions from £200 a month to £300 a month. I also did 1 month where I accidentally did both. Don't ask me how, but it happens. As well as, we can't forget, the markets outperformed assumptions tenfold. So a combination of extra deposits and a strong market really made the difference. The main things to remember when you're investing: it's dangerous to be too conservative in forecasts and undervaluing possible upside. Remember, timing the market always beats timing the market. And beating your own forecast doesn't mean you got lucky either. It shows your contributions matter as much as the returns, especially the newer you are to your investing journey. Volatility is inevitable, but staying invested through the dips helps. The importance of low-cost diversified funds like VUAG shines. You capture the market's upside without overpaying for fees, but also don't assume every year will be a blowout. Markets can do the exact opposite with changing cycles. So looking ahead, what's next year's projection? Now with my portfolio at £10,190.95, I'm setting my new target for next year at £15,093.62 by October the 1st, 2026. And here's how I arrived at that figure. Continuing my monthly contributions at £300, again assuming the same annualised return at 10.26%. That leads me to that new target figure. Of course, this is a projection, don't forget. It's not a guarantee. If the markets are weaker this year, or if I reduce my deposit, the results can easily differ. But based on what I've seen so far, this feels like an aspirational but grounded goal. So that's the story, starting from £6,300 last year in October to predicting £9,500 and ended up £10,200. What an overshot. The combination of extra capital and strong markets gave me more than I expected. But if you enjoyed this walkthrough, smash the like button and subscribe, and if you're still scared to invest, watch the video on the screen to see why you should start investing today.